So, if you're like most businesses struggling to hire, it can feel like being a prisoner to your own hiring process. You can't find good people, you can't scale your team, and because of that, your business is capped, mostly to your own personal capacity, which means you can't take a vacation, you can't get sick, you can't step away for any reason, even if it meant going to your kids' own sporting events, because if you do, everything stops. And the reason for this, it's not that good people don't exist, it's directly tied to your hiring process and the fact that it's broken. But this little known secret is going to be the key to your freedom. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build your own AI recruiter with absolutely no coding or no development experience whatsoever. And this AI recruiter will free you from the hiring prison by automatically finding, validating, and engaging top talent while you sleep, so you can stop being the bottleneck and start building your dream team. So let's get into it. First off, if you're new here, I want to say welcome. My name is Jared Black. I'm the founder of New Vine Employment Group, and over the last decade, I have successfully placed more than 10,000 employees across 300 plus businesses. And I have personally built a custom AI-powered recruitment platform that combines AI efficiency with expert recruiters. And on this channel, I break down actionable recruiting strategies that help business leaders just like you attract and hire top talent. And today, I'm pulling back the curtain on how AI recruiting actually works and how you can build it yourself. So let's get started with what an AI recruiter actually does, because most people just think it's simply a chatbot answering and responding to questions on a landing page. I'm here to tell you it's not. An AI recruiter handles 5 core functions of the recruitment process, starting with number 1, candidate discovery, which is going to be scraping job boards, LinkedIn databases, or other sources to find optimal candidates who match your criteria. The second core function is going to be candidate research, which pulls the data on their experience, skills, background, and social profiles. The third is going to be candidate grading, which means it's going to be scoring each candidate against your ideal profile using a structured scorecard that you have established. Next would be candidate ranking, ordering those candidates by fit, so you're looking only at the best ones first. And then last would be outreach sequencing, which means sending personalized message and follow-ups automatically and nurtures the relationships over time. Now, the result? Well, by the time that you look at a candidate, they've already been discovered, researched, graded, ranked, and engaged. So you're not sifting through hundreds of resumes. You're reviewing a short list of pre-vetted, high-quality candidates who are ready and more. That's the power of AI recruiting, as well as the secret to winning talent today, which is simply building a bench of highly qualified, highly engaged A players who are ready to convert. So what do you actually need to build an AI recruiter? Well, here are the core tools that you're going to use. First, you need an automation platform. This is the brain of your system. Now, there are a lot of platforms out there and new ones launching every single week. Obviously, everyone knows Make or Zapier. They handle a lot of basic workflows. But when you're building something this complex, you need more control. That's why I use N8N. It gives you the flexibility and the customization that you need to build a sophisticated recruitment workflow that can actually scale. Additionally, I don't worry too much about the credit limits per action or per automation, which can get really pricey with some of those other tools. Next, you need to choose an AI model. Now, it doesn't matter to me which one you choose, but you'll need one. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, choose one. But this is what's going to be conducting the research, the grading, and the personalization of the process. Third is going to be your data sources. Now, to me, this is the most important part and where I would recommend you pay up to get the most amount of access. You're going to be starting with something like LinkedIn or Apollo for candidate discovery, as well as contact information. But this is where you're going to be pulling your candidate data from. Fourth, you're going to need a database or a CRM or an ATS. Now, you can use something Google Sheets or Excel, your applicant tracking system, or Airtable, but this is where your candidates get stored, tracked, and managed. Fifth, you're going to be looking for an outreach tool. You can use something like Lemlist or Instantly or another similar email automation tool, but this is how you actually reach out to your candidates and manage the sequences. Now, let's talk about real cost for a second. So here's what you're looking at paying per month for all these different tools. Starting with N8N, it can cost you anywhere between $20 to $50 depending on what plan you choose. If you're looking at Google Workspace or Microsoft 365, it can run you anywhere between $12 and $20 per user per month. ChatGPT or Claude could range anywhere between $20 to $100 per month, depending on the plan and the usage that you select. Now, you're gonna want to use LinkedIn, you want to choose a sales nav or a recruiter seat, but either one is fine. I would say that's going to cost you anywhere between $80 to $135 per month. And Apollo could range anywhere between $49 to $149 per month, depending on the plan that you choose. Now, you will also need an email automation tool. So whether it's Lemlist or Instantly or another option, that cost can range anywhere between $59 to $129 per month. And lastly, you want to store your data somewhere. So I recommend using Excel or Google Sheets, which would be included in your Microsoft or your Google plan. But if you want something with more firepower, you can opt to use Airtable, which has a free version, which is very limited, but it does give you some access. And a paid version could cost as much as $20 per user per month. So that would bring your total monthly cost to $240 up to $600 per month, depending on the volume and the tier on the plans that you choose. Now, that may sound expensive, but if you compare that to hiring a full-time recruiter who would be conducting this sourcing activity, which would cost you anywhere between $60,000 to $100,000 $100 per year. That's a savings of more than 92%. To me, the ROI is undeniable. All right, now let's break down how you actually build your AI recruiter. Now, there are 6 steps you want to follow. First, you need to define what your ideal candidate actually looks like. I'm not talking about just job requirements. I'm talking about the criteria that actually predict success in your company. So what skills are non-negotiable? What experience matters most? What mindset do they need to have? What red flags would disqualify somebody immediately off the bat? You take all this information and you turn it into a scorecard that your AI recruiter can use and grade against. For example, I'm looking for somebody with 5+ years in SaaS sales. I'm looking for somebody with experience in enterprise sales. I'm looking for somebody who's located in a geographical location or time zone. I'm looking for somebody with a background in a specific niche or industry. All of these things, they matter. And the clearer your criteria, the better your AI recruiter will perform. Remember, you put garbage in, you'll get garbage out. So be sure to spend time on this step. Second, and the biggest lift of this process, you want to automate candidate discovery. This is where you tell the system, go find people who match my criteria. Here's how this works. You use our automation tool, NNN, to pull candidates from multiple sources. LinkedIn becomes your primary resource for identifying potential candidates based on your search criteria. We're looking at title, location, company, experience, everything. Then Apollo finds the email addresses and enriches the contact information further. Now, a quick word of caution. Some tools, there are a lot out there, and some methods can violate LinkedIn's terms of service. So do your research before signing up for any tool that promises to scrape or extract data from LinkedIn. You want to stay compliant while still accessing the talent pools that you need. All of this data gets pushed into a spreadsheet or a database automatically. So instead of you manually searching LinkedIn for hours, the system is doing it for you in the background while you focus on running your business. And here's the key. You're not just pulling active job seekers. You're finding passive candidates, people who aren't looking but would be open to the right opportunity. And that's where the best talent lives. They're not applying to job boards. They're actively succeeding somewhere else. Now, step 3, your AI recruiter researches each candidate and enriches their profile. So once a candidate is in your database, your AI agent starts to kick in. It pulls their LinkedIn profile, their company info, their social media presence, any articles they may have written or content they may have shared. And it's building a complete picture of who this person actually is, not just what's on their resume. And it's doing this for hundreds of candidates at once. So by the time that you look at somebody, you're not starting from scratch. You already have contacts, you already have a little bit of a bio, and you have history on this person. Now, step 4 is where you're building your grading system. This is where AI scores each candidate against your predetermined scorecard. So remember that ideal candidate profile that we defined earlier? The AI recruiter uses that to calculate a weighted score for every candidate. So here's how it works. Each criteria gets assigned a point value based on importance. So for example, 5+ years in SaaS sales could be worth 20 points. Experience in enterprise deals over 100K could be worth 25 points. Background in a specific industry or niche could be worth 15 points. And location or time zone could be worth 10 points. Demonstrated leadership experience could be worth another 15, and we'll say cultural alignment could be worth another 15, giving you a total possible score of 100 points. So a candidate may score a 20 out of 20 on SaaS experience, a 25 out of 25 on enterprise deal, 0 out of 15 on industry background, a 10 out of 10 on time zone, a 10 out of 15 on leadership, and a 12 out of 15 on culture fit, giving that candidate a total score of 77 out of 100. Now, this weighted scoring system creates a much more specific differentiation between your candidates, so you're not just flooded with a sea of 8s and 9s. You wind up getting a much more precise ranking that reflects actually what matters to you and to your company. Not to mention, your AI recruiter will flag any deal breakers automatically. So if somebody isn't meeting a certain non-negotiable requirement, say they score a 0 out of 10 or 0 out of 20 on a criteria that you marked as mandatory, they would be filtered out. No wasted time, no wasted effort. And the 5th step is automating the outreach. This is where your AI starts to build a relationship with candidates before you ever talk to them. And here's how that works. We use OpenAI or Claude or Gemini or any LLM that you choose to analyze the candidate's background, their LinkedIn profile, their experience, their recent activity, and craft a personalized message specifically for them. Not generic spam, real personalization. So for example, you could say something like, I saw you led the recent territory expansion at company XYZ and grew the team from 5 to 20 reps in 18 months. That's exactly the kind of leadership experience we're looking for as we could scale our sales organization. Would you be open for a quick chat? That kind of message will get a response. Now, your AI recruiter pulls from all the research that we gathered in the previous steps, their role, their achievements, their trajectory, and creates a message that feels human, relevant, and compelling. Then the system sends the initial message and automatically follows up as they don't respond. Now, you can even keep engaging with the candidate even further after that with maybe warm content, valuable content, company updates, culture posts, thought leadership. So by the time that you're ready to hire or they're ready to make a move, you're not reaching out cold. They've been nurtured. You have a bit of a relationship there for maybe weeks or months, and they already know your company. They already respect your brand, and they're much, much more likely to say yes. Now, sixth step, and this is critical. You need to stay in the loop. AI does the heavy lifting, but you make the final decisions. And here's what that looks like. The AI recruiter will surface the top candidates to you, but you review them and you approve the ones that you want to move forward with. And then the system takes over again, which means scheduling interviews, sending confirmations, all of that. This is not a set it and forget it type of system. It's more of a set it and let it do 80% of the work. And so you can focus on the other 20% that actually matters, which is talking to the best candidates, selling them on the opportunity, making the final hiring decisions. Everything else completely automated. So let me give you a real example from our system. We had a client who needed to hire about 10 software engineers. And traditionally for them, this would have taken them months between crafting the job description, posting jobs, reviewing hundreds of resumes, conducting dozens of interviews. It would have taken them forever to do this on their own, and it has taken them forever to do this on their own. But here's what happened with our system. The first week, our AI recruiter discovered more than 500 highly matched potential candidates across several points: LinkedIn, GitHub, and some other paid job boards. It researched each one. It pulled their tech stack, their projects, and their experience. It graded and ranked them based on the client's criteria using the weighted scoring system that we had set up. And the top 50 candidates automatically moved into an outreach sequence. Now, within the first few days, 15 candidates had responded and were already interested. And by week 2, the client had conducted first round interviews with 10 of them. And by week 3, they had made offers to 3 of them, and all of which had accepted. Now, the total time from start to finish was just over 4 weeks for this project. And the client spent maybe 8 to 10 hours of their own time in this project. Our AI recruiter did everything else. Now, let's be real for a second. This is a very basic example of how an AI recruiter could work for your organization. But this isn't a plug and play system. Building this system, it requires setup. You need to define your criteria. You need to connect the tools. You need to test. You need to refine the workflows. The better your inputs, the better your outputs. And if you give AI vague criteria, you'll get vague results. So give it very clear, specific requirements. It'll deliver much better, higher quality candidates for you in the long run. But once you get it running right, it's easily 10 times faster than manual recruiting. And it's scalable. And it frees up your time to focus on what matters, which is building relationships with the best possible candidates and then closing them on the opportunity. So here's what I want you to do. If you're serious about scaling your hiring and you want to understand where your current process is broken, I want you to start by taking the Hiring Success Scorecard. It's completely free, takes less than 2 minutes, and it'll show you exactly what to fix first. I've gone ahead and dropped that link in the description below. You can find it there. Now, building a system like this, it takes time, it takes expertise, it takes resources. If you have the bandwidth and the resources to build it yourself, great. I want you to start working on that today. But if you're short on time, or you'd rather leverage a system that is already built, tested, and proven, that's where we can help. Book a discovery call with our team. We'll walk you through how our AI-powered recruitment platform works, and we'll show you real results from companies that have used it or are currently working with us today, and we'll help you figure out if it makes sense for where you are in your growth stage. Now, no pressure, just absolute clarity in the process. I've gone ahead and dropped that link in the description below as well. And if you found this valuable and you want me to go deeper, drop me a comment below saying system, and if I get enough interest, I'll record a full build tutorial where we construct this together from scratch. I'll walk you through building the system step by step so you can follow along in real time. Now, please remember to hit a like and a subscribe, and I really appreciate you spending time with me today. Thanks for watching.